coming up now, it's Destination Germany.
That's right, it is Destination Germany, where we take you on a journey somewhere in the country that is well worth a visit. Whether you're a tourist or a permanent resident, a foreigner, or a German citizen. Here, we'll be covering all those famous sites as well as the little-known corners of Deutschland. All that matters is showing you that Germany is an interesting and exciting place to visit. If you enjoy the destinations that we talk about each week, go to our website, thisweekingermany.de, and we'll have photos of each week's destination.
So, last time, if I remember correctly, we went to the tiny weeny state of Saarland and to the Völklingen Iron Works, which was a cultural World Heritage Site, according to UNESCO. And this factory was very important for the country's Industrial Revolution, and it is now on display for all to see. And you can do a lot there. It's not just, okay, there's an ironworks. Oh, great. It is a really cool place for like a cultural, you could say it's a cultural center for the area with exhibitions, events, and festivals, and it has a permanent science center. And if you take a look at the photos on our website, you'll see it's sometimes lit up in pretty colors and hosts some interesting events. So that's really, really cool. Not just a blast furnace, as the old saying goes. So Germany, of course, has a lot of, in terms of places to visit, as we know, because every week we hear about them here from Rob. So what are we going to learn about this week?
Well, this week we're going to take you to a place that is somewhere pretty much in my backyard, and that's
we're not going to your backyard, are we?
Not my actual backyard, but the same state. It's in the the state of Saxony-Anhalt, and we're going to the capital, Magdeburg. And this city has a lot to offer, but I'm going to single out something special. I always like telling you about extremes, so this week I'm going to tell you about Germany's tallest wooden building, the Millennium Tower, or in German, the Jahrtausendturm.
Okay, I have to ask the obvious question first. Why is there a huge wooden tower in the middle of Magdeburg called the Jahrtausendturm?
Well, I'll have to ask you, have you ever heard of the Bundesgartenschau, or the Federal Garden Show?
Well, as you know, Rob, I'm always into the latest in garden culture, but maybe you could tell me a little bit about what it is.
Okay, it's a horticulture event that takes place every other year.
A what?
Horticulture event.
What's that?
Think gardening. It's a big gardening show.
All right, okay.
Okay, yeah. That takes place every other year, and it is a huge deal in Germany and internationally as well. A different city or region hosts the show each year, and they must construct a beautiful showcase with landscapes, gardens, and architecture.
You and your fancy words. I think I'm getting the picture here. Okay, so the Millennium Tower is something that looks so grand, and it's huge, made out of wood, and it was made for this gardening event.
That's right. The tower was created for the event as Magdeburg was hosting the Federal Garden Show for the first time since 1951 when the show began. It was actually the first time the show has ever been to the state of Saxony-Anhalt.
That is insane. So, that no one has ever thought of Saxony-Anhalt as the gardening capital of Germany. Saxony-Anhalt is always neglected when people think about Germany. I don't know why, because it's not a bad state.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. I have a question for you, though, Rob.
Yes.
Maybe you could answer this directly and honestly as you can.
Okay.
Why is it called the Millennium Tower?
Well, it's a pretty practical name for it because the year that this was held was 1999, right at the turn of the millennium. Hence, the Millennium Tower.
Okay, so why did they decide that Magdeburg's garden show needed a huge wooden tower?
The tower is in Magdeburg's Elbauern Park.
Very good.
Elbauern Park, yes. It stands 60 meters tall. It has 6 huge floors, and the theme is man's development of sciences. Something that has always drawn my attention are the interactive areas. If I can play with something rather than just looking and reading about it, all the better.
Are you sure it's actually meant for adults to play with, or are you going to like a child's park and just playing with things?
What's really the difference? No, yes, no, yine. Adults and children, yes, can both play with the different science experiments that they have there.
Okay, so it sounds like something that people would really want to experience. It's not just the tower. There's a lot more to it.
Yes, I'm going to tell you a little bit, not what you can find on every floor, but give you a general gist of what it's like to be there. First, trying to describe what it looks like from the outside. Think of a huge, giant drill head coming out of the earth, but it's a little bowed, so it kind of looks artistic. And there's a staircase that spirals around it so that visitors can get a great view of the rest of the park and everything surrounding it.
Cool. And what about the inside?
On the inside, you work your way up from the bottom to the top. And on the bottom, you're pretty much seeing the birth of mankind and what they were capable of. And you see how man progresses through the ages as we learn new things and get a better understanding of how the world works. And by the time you get to the 5th floor, you can see today's modern sciences and technology. I really wonder what it's going to look like in the future. If there's going to be, if today's modern technology is going to look like what technology of early times, look to us now.
Yeah. So then you get to the 6th floor, and it's man's eventual destruction in the nuclear apocalypse, and then you just jump off, right?
Luckily not. The 6th floor is an observation deck where you can get a great view over all the trees and the garden and see the lands far into the distance.
Okay, it actually sounds like a really cool place, especially for Saxony-Anhalt. Anything else that you want to tell us about before we have to wind down Destination Germany this week?
Well, something that caught my eye was located on the very bottom floor, which is the largest, and they claim that they have a labyrinth, which is a maze that visitors can find their way through. I think that sounds like incredible amounts of fun. Remember, just the normal park looks amazing enough, a great reason to visit it, but with the Millennium Tower, it is a must-see.
Would you say, Rob, that people should go to Saxony-Anhalt just to see the Millennium Tower?
There's lots to do, and Magdeburg itself, the entire city, is really cool, but when you're in Magdeburg, definitely go to this park, see the tower.
And if you want to learn more and see photos of the Magdeburg Millennium Tower, go to our website, thisweekingermany.de, to check it out as always.